Scientists have studied how cats react to different people, and their data reveals a behavior most owners completely overlook. Your cat has been scanning every person you bring home, and they know something about them that you don't. You have likely seen the reaction firsthand. A normally relaxed, social cat is lounging comfortably, but the moment a specific guest walks through the door, they freeze entirely. The air seems to tighten. The tail stops moving, the posture stiffens, and they lock onto this new arrival with a sudden, sharp clarity. This intense focus is the result of highly evolved predatory biology. Your cat is running a sophisticated, invisible background check on everyone in the room, relying on sensory tools we do not possess. This diagram of a cat's sensory funnel shows how they pull in data. They evaluate the environment through 4 simultaneous channels. The first channel is scent. They sample the ambient air and read human skin chemistry continuously, tracking changes like a rolling news ticker. Through the acoustic processing channel, they map out the microrhythms of a stranger's footsteps and detect hidden frequencies in a voice. Visually, they track trajectory. They judge the exact spatial arc of a human moving through a doorway and assess whether that person's posture is loose or dangerously rigid. Physically, they use a vibratory channel, feeling the tension and weight of a human step straight through the floorboards. When someone walks in to say hello, a cat is immediately processing a massive, continuous stream of raw human biology. Within that data stream, they are actively measuring specific invisible metrics to gauge hidden tension. The first of these is stress hormones and sweat chemistry. This chemical analysis chart illustrates the difference in what your cat is smelling. On the left is the smooth scent profile of a relaxed person. When a guest feels anxious or aggressive, their body chemistry shifts, creating this jagged, aggressively spiking line on the right. Once the scent alerts them, the cat cross-references that data with voice pattern analysis. In doing so, they completely ignore the vocabulary being spoken. This audio waveform graphic reveals how a cat's brain isolates the musical qualities of speech. They map tone, volume, cadence, and these tiny, erratic micropauses circled in red. A guest might be using friendly, inviting words, but a sharp edge or an erratic pitch in their voice registers as a massive acoustic anomaly. A polite smile cannot hide an internal emotional state from a creature, biologically designed to smell and hear the truth. When sensory inputs clash, the feline threat response triggers a cognitive concept known as a pattern mismatch. Humans often broadcast conflicting signals. A visitor will project a warm, cheerful voice while keeping their shoulders perfectly stiff and hands clenched tightly together. Factor in an unpredictable approach, walking aggressively forward, reaching directly over the cat's head, or locking into a hard stare, and the threat level escalates. These conflicting physical and acoustic signals suggest a lack of predictability, forcing the feline brain to treat the human as a potential risk. While a cat seems to instantly dislike someone, they are correctly calculating that a human's outward friendliness is a mask covering internal tension. Once the brain officially categorizes a stranger as unsafe, this invisible data processing translates immediately into physical output. The first distinct warning sign you will notice is a sharp defensive hiss directed entirely at a specific person in the room. Hissing represents a calculated distance-making behavior, deployed exactly when a human breaches a cat's sensory boundaries. The second warning sign occurs when a cat actively hides the moment a specific person visits. This behavior is a calculated avoidance of an individual whose biological signals read as an active, unpredictable threat. The third critical warning sign you must absolutely look out for when a guest arrives is the hard stare. A stiff body and an unblinking stare indicate the cat has frozen mid-step to process a severe pattern mismatch occurring right in front of them. These physical reactions are the final result of a sensory system that prioritizes immediate survival data. The data your cat collects is incredibly precise. These warning signs are powerful, but there are 3 more signals your cat gives you, and the last one is so subtle that 99% of owners completely miss it, and it could be the most important warning of all. Now here are the 3 subtle signals most owners completely miss. and scientists say these are the most reliable warnings your cat can give you. The first signal is a sudden change in tail position. While many look for aggressive thrashing, the more accurate warning is often a complete freeze. Watch as the tail loses its fluid motion and drops into a rigid, low tuck. This freeze is a response to spatial pressure. The cat is processing an inconsistency in human body language, such as a visitor who speaks with friendly words while maintaining a stiff, unyielding posture. The second signal is the ear flattening pattern, commonly known as airplane ears. This is a sensory defense mechanism. By rotating the ears out, the cat is physically shielding its auditory canals from a perceived threat. This occurs when the animal detects an environmental mismatch. A stranger's erratic movements or a sudden, sharp shift in vocal cadence triggers this immediate physical retreat. The third signal is the hard stare. It is one of the most reliable red flags in feline behavior, yet it's frequently overlooked. Notice the unblinking gaze locking onto a target, while the jaw remains visibly tense and tightly closed. This stare represents rapid pattern calculation. The cat is fixating on a human who is either ignoring physical boundaries or emitting the subtle chemical scent produced by human stress. These three movements form an integrated detection system. They aren't random moods. They are physical responses calibrated to identify and flag human unpredictability. While these signals manifest as micro-movements, they dictate how a cat navigates every interaction with the people entering your territory. You might recognize this as the hallway pause. A cat will suddenly freeze when a stranger approaches with high-pressure, space-compressing body language. They are reading the trajectory of the movement and deciding to hold their ground. Environmental factors like the late-night visitor scenario amplify this. The ambient tension of a dark room and the unusual timing of an arrival can lead a cat to flag a person as suspicious, even if that person is an otherwise familiar owner. They also utilize social referencing, effectively borrowing the opinions of their owners. If you tighten your posture or change your breathing around a visitor, your cat mirrors that frame of mind and activates its own warning signals. What often feels like intuition is actually hyper-observant survival tracking. By analyzing human micromovements and the use of space, your cat is building a real-time map of its safety. There is formal scientific validation for this behavior, most notably from researchers at Kyoto University. A study led by Akiko Takaoka tested how animals evaluate human trustworthiness. Using pointing gestures and hidden food containers, researchers tracked whether subjects would continue to follow the cues of a human who had previously misled them. This diagram illustrates the deception phase. Researchers deliberately pointed at empty containers, lying to the subjects. The results were definitive. By the third round, even when the human pointed toward the actual food, the animals completely ignored the cue. The study concluded that the subjects devalued the reliability of the human almost instantly. Once a person proved to be an inconsistent source of information, the animal revoked its trust. Researchers are looking at related species, like the gray wolf, to determine if this social intelligence is a fundamental trait across their entire lineage. This is supported by data from the University of Bristol, where researchers describe these animals as information junkies. They require predictability to maintain security. The consensus is clear. There is no mysticism involved. Your cat is analyzing microexpressions, sweat chemistry, and behavioral consistency to make a rapid, evidence-based judgment on whether a person is reliable. When you see these signals, you are watching a specialized system at work. Your cat isn't just a passive resident. It is a creature that is constantly monitoring the consistency and safety of its environment. A cat's world is built on the pursuit of predictability. When you introduce someone new, your cat is already calculating their reliability based on the microsignals they provide. Science confirms that these animals devalue inconsistent humans almost instantly. It may be time to start paying closer attention to what those behavioral signals are telling you. If this changed how you see your cat, subscribe to Paw Secrets for more science-backed pet psychology every single week.